obviously you all know that, we've been locked down because of this COVID, and we've had a lot of requests for meetings and a lot of requests for the COVID pandemic to be over, but I don't think we control that. But the bottom line is, my staff, Lindsay and Angela, they decided that they were like, I think it's time. And I'm like, I think you're right. So here we are. So tonight is going to be somewhat informal. Obviously, we had a little more formalized meeting last week with the CFO, Robert Cortinas, but today we're going to just be a little loose with it, give you guys opportunity to ask some questions, and we're going to try to share some information with you as well. Okay?
Yes.
Lindsay?
Before we get started, I just want to let everybody know who's on here that we are recording this. So we're going to be able to post it to Facebook later for those who can't join us. So just FYI, just so you guys know it is being recorded. So you guys know if you want to turn your camera on or off, it's up to you. But everything you say will be recorded. Just want to make sure everybody knows that. So it's crystal clear. And then second thing is, hold on, let me admit this person. There we go. Second thing is, if you're joining us via phone call and not through the link, you are automatically muted. But if you want to speak, you'll have to click *6 to unmute yourself. So if you're trying to speak and nobody's answering you, you're probably muted and you'll have to click *6. So those are just some housekeeping things so you know. And with that, now we can get started.
All right. So I can see people are still popping on. You've got that right, Lance?
Yes, I'm admitting everybody. We're at 13 now. So welcome everybody that's new and just joining us.
Okay. All right. Again, welcome everyone. I know you guys everyone's been locked down, trying to figure out what's going on. But the best I can do right now is just pray that everyone stays safe. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and limit your access and your exposure to people out there in the community until we can get a better handle on this. The numbers are going up. I think today we were at 399 deaths from the COVID-19. So I pray that everyone is doing what they need to take care of themselves and to take care of others. I will tell you, we've had a number of calls into the office. They range from emergencies to, I just want to talk to somebody, Sam, and I'm okay with that as well. But the bottom line is, we want you all to know that we're still here, we're still working for the Northeast. We're still here to answer any questions. Lindsay, we all have access to Lindsay. If you don't have her cell phone number, I'm sure by the time we're done, she'll give you guys some information today. Same thing with Angela, as well as we have the District 4 number, okay, that 212-0004 number on top of that email, okay? I would ask that if you have something that's vitally urgent, to reach out to us through either email or make a phone call to the office or Lindsay or Angela. Okay, because what I've been noticing is quite a few people are getting upset because a lot of people are social media fiends. And when they drop a message in social media, we don't track social media like we track email and how we track phone calls. So if you all have something that really needs to get to us and it's urgent, please steer away from the social media and reach out to us directly and make a phone call, okay? So that's probably the biggest thing, because we don't want anyone to believe or feel like we're not there working for them, because we're still here. And I can honestly tell you all, if any of you all are working from home, you probably come to realize that you're actually working a lot harder from home than you are, because unless you set those personal boundaries, the phone calls will come all night. And we have had phone calls as late as 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Okay, City Hall is closed, but folks feel that because we are working in this environment, that they have access to us 24 hours. We still have to get rest. We still have to take care of ourselves. We still have to take care of our loved ones. And we need some downtime too. So the office hours are pretty much in effect as much as they can be. But if you truly have an emergency, just reach out to us. Hey, Lindsay, you forget anything on that?
Yes, I was just going to add, there's often times when all three of us are in the same meeting. So if you can't get a hold of any of us, please leave a voicemail. We will not call you back if you don't leave a voicemail, because we get probably over 60 calls a day. So if you don't leave a voicemail, we're not going to call you back. So make sure you leave a voicemail. It doesn't have to be what you're calling about, just name and phone number, and please give me a call back. Because we're working off of our cell phones, and so we also do fall victim to those annoying robocalls as well. So if it doesn't have a voicemail, we're not going to call you back, just because most of the time they're not legit people. But if it is you and you're just not leaving a voicemail and we haven't called you back, I apologize, but next time leave a voicemail, we'll be happy to call you back.
Good point. And like I said, Lindsay, if I'm leaving anything out, please feel free to jump in there. Angela, you as well. As a matter of fact, Angela, where are you? Why don't you introduce yourself? Because the irony of her hire was we hired her right at the beginning of COVID. So a lot of you might not know who she is. So now you can put a face to the voice. Okay, wait till you guys get a load of this voice. Ready? Go ahead, Angela.
Hi, everybody. I'm Angela. So I'm the administrative specialist with Dr. Sam Morgan's office. So I am the one who is the first one to answer. And if you guys cannot wait or the voicemail doesn't get responded to as fast as possible, definitely reach out to Lindsay. And it is on my voicemail that if it's very urgent, to email us or even to go reach out to Lindsay. That way, because sometimes I don't have my phone because I only do work part-time. So if you guys need something really, really urgently, please call Lindsay or even email us, because I do have access to the email all day long, every single day. Yes, I am working from home, but again, I do only work part-time.
Let me also, just so you all know, because she's been my lifesaver, she is also going to school full-time, and she also has children. So she is like Superwoman. So she is a really great asset to our office. So be nice to her when you call, because she is the first person that that you will meet when you call our office. So be nice to her, because she is Superwoman, but sometimes rude people aren't good for us. I'll just leave it at that.
You don't have rude constituents. What are you talking about? No.
So, yeah.
Look, honestly, I realize sometimes it may feel like we're not able to get back to you all as fast as you would like, but we're doing our absolute best. Working off of phones, on average, we're going to spend 10, 15 minutes on the line with someone trying to address their issue or their concern. So you think about what Lindsay said earlier. We're getting over 60 plus calls per day. You add 10, 15 minutes to each one of those calls, that's a full day. That's why I urge everyone to, one, use email, and it leaves a trail, and we're definitely going to get back to that. Okay, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure everybody has all our contact information before we open up to questions and other things that Rep Morgan wants to talk about. So the email address, if you have any concerns, is district4@elpasotexas.gov. So that's DISTRICT 4, the number 4, @elpasotexas.gov. And also, if you're calling our office, if you call our main number, it will go to Angela, and that's 915-212-0004. If she's not available, like she said, she is part-time, you can always call my cell phone, which is 915-478-0269. I'm pretty sure most of the people on this call have that number, but if you don't, now you do. And then if you need Angela's cell phone number, which you shouldn't, because the main line for our office goes to her phone, but if you need it just in case to send her a text about pictures or anything, it's 915-979-5890. Is that right? Cool. Okay. So if anybody needs any of those, now you have them, and you have multiple ways to reach us. So.
Very good. That's good information. None of you, well, I see a couple of people. Hey, Yoli, I just saw somebody I recognize. Those of you that do have my number, don't call me, okay? Please, just stop. No, I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. Now, if you have my personal number, please feel free to reach out to me, but run it through the office so we can go ahead and track whatever is fine. I will let you guys know that we appreciate you all joining into this call here tonight, because it's important that folks still be able to be informed about what's going on in the community, because there's so much going on right now. I know you all are aware of Hurricane Laura and evacuation of Houston. I know you guys are aware that we had 99 new cases of COVID just pop up. We're up to 399 COVID deaths so far, and it's never ending. We have an election coming up. Just so much going on, and we want to make sure you guys stay as informed as possible. One of the agenda items that we have coming up this week, I know that we have a lot of folks who are serious about their open space. Lindsay and I placed on the agenda today to get an update on the NAPLAN. You all know we purchased 366 acres of open space in 2018, and in 2019, I put an item on the agenda to put a conservation easement on it. And one of the things that I'm not very happy with right now is how staff wants to bundle the Lost Dog Trail and the NAPLAN together. Okay, those two items happened about 2 years apart. Okay, and I understand they're very similar. They're very similar in nature, and we're trying to get it to the Frontier Alliance to have them manage the property for us. But that 366 acres of NAPLAN is absolutely critical to the Northeast. When I was running, that's all I heard from the folks that live in District 6 up on Big Bend and Mount Zion, Zion, was that they did not want to see so many homes built up there. So we were fortunate enough that the Knapp family was willing to work with us on this particular plot. We purchased it for about $3.5 million. And we're going to, preserve it and make sure that it stays that way forever. Okay. So if you all would like to comment on that, I would love for you to call in Tuesday and participate in that. The more information, the more support we can show from the community, the easier it is to get these things done. You all, when I came in, that I'd fight for this community, and guess what? We've got a lot done in a very short period of time, but we still every now and then have to nudge the staff. We just do. You have to nudge people to get them going in the right direction sometimes. It's not that they're not willing, it's just think about what has transpired in the last year. It's August. We had a mass shooting, we have a pandemic going on, we had an immigration crisis going on. I mean, just so much has happened, We have a Black Lives Movement that's going on. And if you think about how much time, energy, effort, and resources, those four things that I talked about, let alone managing all 26 departments of the city and getting things done and staying on task, it's a Herculean task. And my hat is off to our staff. I know they feel like we're beating them up a lot, but we have a job to do as well, and we have you to answer to. And I'm much more afraid of you all than I am of Tommy Gonzalez. I can tell you that. Okay, you guys are much more sensitive and critical. But the bottom line is we are just trying to make sure this community is moving forward at the same clip and pace as every other part of town. And I think we're doing a really good job right now. So if you could chime in on Tuesday and let your family and your friends and those that care about open space know, please sign up to speak on that agenda item. Lindsay, when will the agenda be put out?
So the
Tomorrow?
agenda will come out tomorrow at noon, and I'll make sure that we have in our newsletter what item it is, because we don't know that right now. So I'll make sure to put what item it is as well as the information, because the meeting is going to be virtual, just like this on Microsoft Teams. So I'll make sure to have that link so you can either join or the phone number that you can call in to speak during that item.
Okay. Is that fair? Is that fair enough, folks? Nod. Okay. It's interactive, you guys. But in the next item, I just want to make sure that everyone helps us get the word out. You guys, as I've stated time and time again, you all are our eyes and our ears for the community. Okay. And one of the thing that I try to share with constituents or anyone that I talk to in the Northeast is their willingness to get involved in this process. I know sometimes we default to going, well, you're the elected person, you're supposed to be, all knowing. Trust me, you're not. You learn as you go. And it's been a very interesting 3-year ride. But most of the big projects and most of the issues that we have taken care of came from the community, came from you guys. And I don't have any problem with that. I love hearing that, what's going on. And the good thing that we did right off the bat was we established a process where we can track anything. So if you tell us you called us, we know you called us because we logged it. If you email us with a concern or an issue, it's logged. We can go back into our log right now, and we can check to see what the status is of anything that has been reported to us. Anything, whether it be weeds on rushing or vandalism or just rowdy kids at the park. We track all of that. Okay, so if it's not done, it's not because we can't get it done. A lot of what we're going through right now, it's got a lot to do with the COVID situation, but we still need that feedback. We still need your patience, and we still need you guys to be concerned about your community. So please just let us know what's going on out there, and we'll get on it. Most Rick, okay. So I mentioned weeds there just now. I don't know why I brought that up. You guys are all calling about the weeds, okay? But one of the things that I shared with Lindsay and Angela today, and I was very happy and I was excited, so excited that I shared it with my staff. When I rolled out of my apartment complex today and down McCombs, I saw them. They were out there spraying weeds, and I got so excited. I actually wanted to take a picture of it. And but the bottom line is it's been a long time since I've seen someone out there doing that. So it's nice to see that we're paying attention. City manager, staff is paying attention, and they're starting to work on that. But like I said, regardless of whether or not we can get it done today or tomorrow, we still need to know what's going on in your community, what's going on in our community. Okay. And the last big issue we have that a lot of people have been talking about lately has been code compliance. So if there's anyone on here that can elaborate on it, we'd love to hear what's going on out there. Code compliance has been ratcheting it up, but I'm in the process of, Lindsay and I are in the process of doing some research right now to see if we can change this code so many people aren't being hit with the same issue. And it is the issue of canopies over driveways, the drive port canopies, the stretch ones that you see over the parks, over the playgrounds at the parks. There's a contractor, there's someone out there that's building these canopies, but what they're not doing is going through the permitting process. So when code goes through and they see it and they check to see if there was a permit for that particular build job, they're not seeing these. and they're getting cited. Okay. I don't know about you all, but I can't afford to build a carport for $3,000 and have city code compliance come around and tell me to take it down because the contractor didn't get a code. Well, these are the same people that are putting the canopies over all of our playgrounds in every neighborhood that I've seen. I was on the east side yesterday, and almost every house on a block had one of these things, and it just bothers me because they're $3,000-$4,000. Okay, so if you guys are having problems with code compliance, if you can't resolve it with them right then and there, you need to let us know, and then we'll put it into our CR4 process. And because all I'm doing right now is just building up the data, doing the research, so we can go back and we can fix this code. Because I'm having a hard time with our constituents being taken advantage of right now by shady characters out there. Because everyone's spending a lot of time at their home. They're seeing that they need improvements, this and that. We had a doctor right here in the Northeast. How much did they spend, Lindsay? $80,000 to build?
$83,000.
$83,000, and the contractor came back and basically accosted them and said he wanted more money. And I had to get involved in that one because, first of all, this is an elderly retired couple. They're pretty savvy people. He's a retired MD, and they were being taken advantage of by some contractors. So I really need you guys to take care of each other out there. And if you hear of anything like this happening, I don't care where you live in El Paso, you need to let us know, because there's a lot of shady things that are happening right now because people are home a lot. People are wanting to catch up on those repairs. And there's a lot of bad, shady characters out there taking advantage of folks. Okay, so those are the biggest issues that we're hearing right now. So right now, what I'd like to do is open it up for questions and hear what your concerns are. Or you guys can compliment me. I haven't had one of those in a while. Angela, don't.
You all are on mute right now, so if you're going to speak, make sure you unmute yourself. If you're on video, it will be at the bottom bar, and if you're not on video, it'll be *6 to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
There you go. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about the bars that have converted to restaurants. And
okay.
If you drive by there late at night, the new restaurant is apparently still serving all of their delicious food into the late hours. So do you have just a brief idea of what the requirements are? What time does the new restaurant that was a bar previously have to close? Are they still allowed to remain open till 2 in the morning?
So do you want to? Okay.
No, go ahead. So the answer is yes.
Per state law, as long as they're serving food, they're allowed to be open, even if that is until 1 or 2 in the morning. However, there is a lot of bars that are serving food until about 10 and then staying open until 2 o'clock. So we actually got a report today because at the 2 council meetings ago, council made it a pretty big deal to make sure that these bars that were following the rules but not really following the rules were being cited because, COVID is very much alive and well in our community. And so what they're doing now is they're letting us know how many citations are out there. Yes. And I don't have the exact number, but off the top of my head, it's in the 400s for commercial businesses, not just bars, commercial businesses that either have been cited and corrected it or have a current open case for a violation where they're not following the directives for COVID. But to answer your question, as long as they're serving food per state guidelines, they're allowed to stay open until 2 a.m.
Yeah, and also to dovetail on that, the irony of this is the state of Texas made it actually very, very easy. They do not have to have a kitchen. They do not have to have industrial kitchen type with the sinks and the sterilization, and they can be food trucks. And as long as it's like Lindsay said, as long as they're serving food, they can still operate as a bar. As a matter of fact, that's something that the governor did, but I think we can actually get involved in that, because to me, I heard yesterday we have a little over 400 bars in the city, and 80% of them have applied for some sort of license to do that, because all they have to do is park a food truck in the vicinity. Okay. So everyone's looking for a way around it. I don't own a bar, but I get it. I own a business, and, all of our businesses are suffering because without people, we don't have a business, and everyone's looking for a way around it. But I really need people to understand that this COVID is some bad stuff. Okay. And it's the younger people that are getting it, the 20s and 30s. Okay. And those are the folks that are hanging out at the bars, and those are the folks that are still trying to enjoy nightlife and have barbecues and hang out. Okay. There's no one here. I'm by myself, so I'm COVID free. but just keep in mind that they do have rights. But if they're doing something, if they're playing well into the night, we do have a sound ordinance policy that's still in effect right now. There's so many different ways that these type of organizations can be cited. But that was a good question. Thank you.
And just to add one last thing to that, if you all happen to see, because we get people that call our office, for instance, they'll call Monday and say, hey, I drove by XYZ bar on Saturday and it was, they were having a great time, but can I make a complaint? You can make a complaint to our office, but it's better if you call right when you see it happen, so we can send either code compliance or PD out there. So let me give you all the phone number for, and it's the non-emergency police number, but right now it's also serving two things. So non-emergency police, but it's also serving as the COVID compliance complaint hotline. And so that number is 915-832-4400. And so you can just let them know, hey, I drove by this bar and I don't know that there's an issue, but it looks like there could be, just letting you all know, and then they'll take it from there. The only thing with those, we get a lot of complaints sometimes. Well, I didn't get a call back telling me what happened. That's because there's no reason for them to call you back. If there's a violation, the business will get violation. If there isn't, that's the end of it. So just don't expect any follow-up from that, because they don't have time to call people back to let you know what happened with that. But please don't let that dissuade you from actually reporting it, because we need to make sure that the spread is slowed down as much, and anything you can do is definitely helpful.
Yes.
But it is, thank you for that information, Lindsay. I appreciate it, that hotline number. But it is pretty flexible then, to say the least, knowing that the governor did it. It's pretty flexible. So, but at least, like you said, it has to be kept in check somehow until our COVID numbers start getting better.
Exactly. We got to plateau and then start dropping, because it's getting pretty scary out here, if you ask me. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I own about 10 different masks now.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Any other questions? This group is never this quiet. What's going on?
I'm a little nervous.
I'm nervous.
If you're on the phone, *6 to unmute yourself. And if you're on the video, just click the little microphone at the bottom of your screen.
Lindsay.
Hello?
It's Barb.
Okay, Mrs.
Hello?
Pugh.
Are they allowed to do yard sales?
Yard
They're
sale.
outside. The most you see is maybe 4 or 5 people at the same time. Because all of a sudden, I know last Saturday, I had to go to the post office and I must have saw 3 of them. Are we allowed to do it being they're outside and it's not like they have a whole crowd?
Let me look it up really quick and we'll come back to that one. I need to look at the order because we get new health orders all the time. So let me double check before I give you that answer. And,
Like I
and
said,
we'll come back to it.
If they want to do it outside, like I said, I looked at them and there were like 2 or 3 people, maybe, not counting the people who lived at the house. So, I mean, but what's the rule?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I think it's going to follow the same rule as the parks. You know, parks are open now. I'm not going to mention the park because it wasn't in my district, but I drove past a park yesterday prior to sundown, and I was blown away. I just couldn't believe how many people were out there. And the entire parking lot was full. They were playing volleyball, basketball. So remember, if you're outside, all we're trying to ask you to do is still maintain your social distance and wear a mask. Okay. But Lindsay will get you the real answer, but it's going to be very similar. We're not going to be able to stop you from having a yard sale at your home. But what we're going to ask you to do is try to do your best to comply with the ordinance as far as wearing a mask, maintaining some distance, and limiting your exposure time. Okay.
Well, they're doing a good job of wearing the mask. You know what? And I called the health department yesterday. They're not covering their nose up. I went to a Burger King, and the cook, they had the gloves on, they had the mask on, and the manager's standing there. I noticed the cook had it down below his nose. And they said, instead of me calling all of the TV stations, I said, would the health department please do it? The picture of the mask shows you how to do it. But that's the only thing I've been seeing lately. And the manager turned around right then and jumped all over that cook. So I was pleased with that.
And just really quick, that's another example of something you can call the compliance line about. So that compliance line is for commercial businesses. It's for if you see a house party, if you see a bar, if you, like you said, Burger King, you can submit anything to that compliance line.
32. Give the number again, please.
Sure. 915-832-4400. And I do have that answer for you, Ms. Pugh. So on July 8th, our health director, which is Dr. Ocranza, said that we can now have outdoor markets, including flea markets, farmers markets, etc. They are allowed as long as they comply with all applicable Texas governor's executive orders. So I went to the governor's executive order, and he does allow them as long as social distancing and mask wearing is in effect.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Well, one of the things that I try to tell people, you know, I have folks that approach me and say, you know, there's just too many rules. And I just say, you know, just apply common sense to this. You know, if the social distancing order is still in effect, you don't need someone to tell you not to stand 2 inches away from someone. You know, use your common sense and your good judgment. Yeah, I know that's hard sometimes, but you know, I think we like to be told what to do a lot. But you know, when it comes to this COVID, I really believe that we all have the ability to apply that common sense and that good judgment, because you know they're not going to be able to, you know, regulate everything. You know, we want less government, not more, right?
I think there was somebody else trying to ask a question at the same time as you. Are you still on?
Can you hear me?
There you are. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Dr. Morgan.
Hi.
This is Bridget. I have a question. I had asked this question before the COVID when we were having our meetings. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe perhaps you went out and maybe it's city code. As Lindsay said, you know, no one's going to call you back, you know, to let you know. I still have concerns with the black. It looks, again, I can take a picture and send it to you. It's like an electrical cord, and it's on the sidewalk of my street. And then when you walk further up, there's another one that's on the sidewalk of the street. And it's a cord like where you can, where, you know, like if you can trip if you're not looking down at your feet. And I'm only asking because I do have concerns with my husband who has a disability. You know, he's on a walker. You know, we try to take walks around the corner. And I'm always telling him, watch the cord, because your foot can get caught if you're not paying attention. You can fall and you can hurt yourself. And the thing is, the cord, it's on the sidewalk, right? It's not in the street. It's on the sidewalk, and it goes like right now I'm looking through my blinds, and it's like on the wall, it goes on the sidewalk, and it's going through a little hole in my neighbor's wall, like it's going all the way back. And I can never catch the guy to ask him, and I don't want to walk, follow the cord all the way through his yard, and it'd be assumed that I'm doing something, and the police is called, and it just gets totally bad. But I'm just wondering about these cords that are on the sidewalk. Is that something that's normal? Is that in all the neighborhoods? Is it something that I'm just not aware of?
So no, it's definitely not normal. It's probably something with one of the utilities. If it's not, we've had a lot of issues. I don't remember where you live, and you don't have to say it on here, but because we'll contact you after the meeting. But I know there's a lot of issues with AT&T. They leave wires and things just wherever they feel they fit. So we'll just need to look into see who that belongs to, so we can figure out how we can help and who can get out of the way for you.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you.
Hey,
You're
Bridget, Lynn gave you her contact information earlier. Just make sure she's gonna contact you. Okay, but just follow up with us if you don't hear anything back. But I know Lindsay's gonna do that tonight. Right?
Okay, great. I appreciate it.
Outstanding. Anyone else? That's it sounds like your neighbor's siphoning your electricity.
I don't. He's a nice guy. He's approachable, but he's in the medical field, so I never can catch him when he's home. But I don't want to go on his private
Oh yeah, absolutely.
property while because he's
These
never
days
home.
It's treacherous out here these days. Don't walk in anyone's yard.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Can I ask you another question about locally about our post offices? Are there any issues here locally with our post offices of machines being removed or boxes being removed over time and all that? Is that happening here in El Paso as well? And is that going to affect the upcoming election? There's, because of COVID, there's so many people that don't want to go vote in person, and but they don't know if their ballot's going to get through. So what's happening locally? Do you have information on that?
Lindsay, you got any other calls? I got a lot of contact calls about it, but it was Facebook traffic showing mailboxes piled up, but I'm not aware of any of that happening right now. But Lindsay, are you aware of anything like that?
No, I'm not. And I actually, after like 3 years of trying to make contact with somebody at the post office, I made a friend at the location in the Northeast. And so the last time I spoke to her, it doesn't seem like there's any disruptions or any of that happening here. And so from at this point, my understanding is that everything is functioning as normal. But you do bring up a good point about mail-in voting. So I actually, while we're having this conversation, I sent Angela something to add to our newsletter, but I want to go ahead and say it here so you all know, if you are planning on voting with a mail-in ballot, you have to call the elections department, which is through the county. And so you have to request or submit an application to vote by mail. So we'll include, there's a link, you can do it online, or you can call them. But you have to do that. Let me see what the day is.
Yeah, I'm looking forward right now too.
I believe it's October something.
Last day to apply for absentee ballot is October 23rd. It's an absolute last day to apply for a ballot. They will send you, early voting starts on the 13th. So you back 6 weeks off of October 13th. and you can request a ballot because they send them 6 weeks. They hold them till 6 weeks before voting starts. So I'll make an assumption that means early voting. So back off 6 weeks.
So if you request it, you need to request it now if you're going to do it that way, but they're going to mail them starting on September 25th.
Yeah.
And you should receive it within 7 days of that. And if you do not receive it, you need to call them. And then also once you receive it, you need to go ahead and vote and return it, just in case we shouldn't have issues here, but in case we do, you don't want your vote to not be counted because it was late. They are saying that here locally, they're anticipating 7 to 10 mailing days for you to send it back. So make sure that they have to receive your ballot by 7 p.m. on November 3rd. So it can't be postmarked for November 3rd. It has to be in their hands, in their office by 7 p.m. on November 3rd. So the best thing to do is once you get it, fill it out and put it back in the mail. Another important thing, it's going to be thick and it's going to be hefty. So they're saying to put at least 70 cents of postage on it. So you can make sure it doesn't get returned to you or any of that. Let's see. If you want to do, I don't think Mr. Justice is here, but he had this question last week. If you want to do the mail-in ballot, but you want to drop it off to make sure, there is one drop-off location, and that is downtown at the elections office, which is at the El Paso County Courthouse. So you do have that option. You will have to show ID when you drop off your thing. So you can't go around and pick them all up for your family and take them at once. Each individual person has to drop them off for themselves. And if you want to do that, that address is 500 East San Antonio Street, Suite 314. And again, you don't have to write all this down. This will all be in our newsletter. And of course, you can always call our office if you need it. We're like broken records of information. So feel free to give us a call if you didn't get a number or something. We're happy to get that information to you.
And I will share with you all, I was at the elections office today, and they're working. I'm going to tell you right now, they've got them, the folks are out there in the hallway. They've got everything roped off. People are working. They're staying 6 feet apart. But each one of those employees had so much information in front of them. I felt bad, because I know they don't have the convenience of being in their office, but I was there. They're very efficient. Everything that I needed from them, they were able to get it for me. Even though it looks chaotic down there at the elections office, they're doing a good job right now. So keep that in mind. Remember, if you're going to vote by absentee ballot and you do want to drop it off yourself, you have to make that trek all the way to the courthouse. I would highly encourage you, when you get it, fill it out and send it back. Okay. Good question.
Thank you for that. And also, you might put on the newsletter that there's no longer a straight Democratic ballot or a straight Republican ballot. Every single candidate is going to be listed individually, as it always is, but this time they each have to be marked individually, which means that, when you used to run in and just check off either party and run out, you were done. Now, seniors and those with disabilities, people who have problems standing a long time, it's going to be much more difficult because they're going to have to stand at the booth while they try to mark their ballot, incredibly long ballot.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And I believe we can do that because the last election was the last straight ticket vote that you're going to ever see in El Paso again. And I've been telling folks the same thing, Yoli, that you got to do a little more homework this time around, because what I see happening is a lot of people going in to vote for the president and, undervoting everything else. Just don't do that for Northeast, please. Sam Morgan. but I think it's important that we start letting folks that are accustomed to going in and pushing a button and saying yes, straight ticket, because I think it's discouraging to a lot of people, but, if you notice, the laws have been changing in Texas, and you guys know I'm all about those, fair boundaries and borders. This is the year where we get to change our district boundaries if we so see it. But we got to be on our toes for this one, guys.
Which brings us to make sure you also fill out your census. So you have 2 jobs this year. You need to fill out your census and you need to vote. That's your homework. But really quickly, we got a message I just want to share with everybody. This is from Carl. He's on the call. It says, can you help spread the word to veterans, dependents of veterans, and surviving spouses in your district that the El Paso County Veterans Office can provide financial assistance with mortgage and rent or utilities for those experiencing financial hardship. The main office is located in our district right next to Cohen, across from our new water park. And for more information, you can visit www.epcounty.com/veterans. So if you guys know of any veterans that need help right now, the county has this program that's great and can help them out with any financial help they may need. So please spread that resource, and thank you, Carl, for letting us know. And we'll make sure to put that in our newsletter as well.
Yeah, that's important. Very important.
Hi, Lindsay, Dr. Morgan.
Yes.
Can I add something?
Sure.
Yes. This is Renee, right?
This is Renee Leone. Is that a little easier for you guys to?
There we go. Yes.
Looking good, son.
Thank you. Trying to keep awake. I just wanted to add that El Paso Water also has a customer assistance program for people who've been negatively affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. If you visit our website, epwater.org, and under our customer service tab, you can find our program, our customer assistance or customer recovery program. That's designed to help people who have fallen behind on their bills avoid disconnection of service. Currently, we're not disconnecting any services while we're under the emergency ordinance, and we prefer not to disconnect any residents even after the ordinance expires. But we do ask residents to contact us, work out a payment plan, come to some sort of arrangement, and we'll do our best to avoid any disconnection of services. With the customer recovery program, people are eligible to apply. There is an income limit, an upper limit. You have to be at or below 80% of the average median income. And there's a table on our webpage that'll show you what income is the upper limit based on the number of people in your household. But if you visit our website, you can apply for the program, and that would provide up to $500 or up to 3 months of back paid or past due bills to credit to your account. So we're urging everyone, if you're experiencing hardship because of COVID-19, or if you have family members or friends who are experiencing hardship, please reach out to us, and we're trying our best to help everyone out as much as possible.
Renee, I appreciate that. I know we've sent a couple of issues your way here over the last few months that range from, underground leaks to, easement cleaning, and you guys have done a great job for us. I appreciate that, and we're definitely going to send some more your way.
Yeah, happy to help out. We're still working. A lot of our engineers are in the office. A lot of us are working from home as we're trying to do the best we can to keep our office socially distant. But we're still out here working for you. Feel free to email Dr. Morgan or Lindsay, and they'll get the information to me.
Thank you, Renee.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry, my internet cut out, but can you repeat the website one more time for people in case you didn't already?
Let me apologize for the pause, but I need to switch screens to look at the web address. It's epwater.org/customer service/ actually, you know what? I'm going to copy and paste this into the chat.
Thank you.
Just because there's a lot of slashes and underscores. But bottom line is, if you go to epwater.org, there's a banner that'll allow you to access this. And if you choose to do so by phone, you can call 915-263-4444. Or you can email customer.recovery@epwater.org.
That's
And we
great.
do have the application available on our website in English and in Spanish.
What we'll do is we'll get that into our newsletter. Lindsay, Angela, that definitely needs to get in there. And again, Renee, I want to thank you for, all the support, because over the last 3-4 months, I know we put a lot on you,
Yeah.
and you've come through for us and our constituents and residents out here every single time. So thank you for the hard work, my friend.
Of course, happy to help out however I can.
All right. Tell your dad I said hi.
Will do.
All right.
Sorry, really quick, we do have Debbie Torres with us, so I wanted her to talk a little bit more about, she just raised her hand, to talk a little bit more about the census. So if anybody has questions, I'm sure she'll be happy to answer any of those questions. So I don't know, Debbie, if you wanted to say anything.
Hi, thanks, Lindsay. Yes, as you all probably know, the deadline for the census has been reduced from October 31st to September 30th. And so all of us who are working on the census are really scrambling to try to do as many outreach events, activities, projects so that we can get the word out. We want to make sure that those areas that are not just the underserved areas, but the low response areas, we are particularly looking at those because we want to, we want the numbers to go up. The second thing is that we want to just make everybody aware of how important the census is, because it's directly tied to the dollars that we get for our community. And I mean, we're talking highways, we're talking breakfast for kids at school, we're talking school lunches, we're talking medical services. It's just really across the board. So anything that really impacts the community like that is really measured by the response that we get during this period when folks are asked to fill out the census. It's a very easy process. You can do it online. You can do it by phone. Those responses that they don't receive, they will send out an enumerator to knock on the doors of those folks that haven't responded so that they can get that information. And I also wanted to thank District 4, Lindsay and Representative Morgan, and for mentioning this in your newsletter. We really appreciate it because it's really important that folks take the time. It only takes 10 minutes or less to do this, and it's so important for our community. And thank you for giving me a chance to, kind of elaborate on that a little bit.
Okay. Would you do me not a problem, Debbie? It's very, very important, and to echo what Debbie just said, we have to get these censuses done, folks. I mean, we know we have very low voter turnout, for major elections, but the census is something that maybe you can elaborate a little more on, what the data is used for, because I've heard, folks are afraid to do it, but this data is only being used for census purposes, and they're not asking you status and legal status, so on and so forth. We need everyone to be counted. Am I headed in the right direction there, Deb?
Yes. First of all, yes, there's no, it's nothing involving citizenship. So folks need to know, first of all, that all of that information is confidential. And if there's any violation of that, it does carry a fine. The other thing that's important to know is that, like you mentioned, this is integrally connected with the services that we receive in the city. And especially during, this challenging time, of course, it becomes even more apparent. The other thing is that actually we are all required by law to complete the census. And this is something that actually I didn't know early on, and this question was asked. I went to check on the census website just for my own, my own satisfaction. And yes, we are all required to fill out the census. And by we all, I mean that person that's designated the head of the household, and that's not necessarily related to anything other than the person who is considered to be the primary person in the household. In my case, it was me because I believe it's connected to the fact that my name's shown as the owner of the house. So I'm not exactly sure how they determine it, but that person will enter all the information for all the people living in that house. So it's not like if there's 7 people in the house that every person's going to have to do the census. No, it's one designated person. So it's a very quick process and it's a very easy process. So it's very connected to all the services that we receive here in the city. And so, for example, the CDBG monies that we get from the Housing and Urban Development Department, that they look at the census figures and they look at those areas where there is, depending on how the population rolls out. The other interesting thing is one area that we have had a very low response with is the area of Fort Bliss, all of those people who live on Fort Bliss. And, that was very concerning to us. And I know that that there's an interim commander there on post right now. So I believe we did reach out by way of a letter, but anything that you all can do to encourage them to respond, because we're real concerned about the low response rate there.
Okay. Yeah, we have some connections out there, and that's good information, because a lot of times when you're I'm a service person, and then a lot of times you just don't feel connected to a community because you're only going to be there a short period of time, and you don't think it's stuff is important. But those people, the soldiers out there, they utilize our services and our resources just like everybody else. So Correct. They need to be counted. We'll follow that up. Lindsay, we got some contacts on that. Good point. Thank you.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Could I ask you a question?
Sure.
The census is really, really important, and I am totally in agreement with that. But I wondered, it's so important. Why was it shortened by 30 days?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part.
Why was the closing date, you said, went from October, it was moved back to September for reporting?
Well, I don't, my understanding is that wasn't done by the Census Bureau, but it was President Trump actually that shortened the deadline, is my understanding. Correct?
Was there somebody? Hello?
Thank you.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, Debbie. This is Bridget. I just had a really quick question.
Sure.
On the census. I have always received something in the mail, and I hadn't gotten anything in the mail to fill mine out. Now I will say that about roughly 2 days ago, there was 2 gentlemen that came to my door about 9 a.m. and one had a clipboard, and one was standing, further back. I didn't open the door, had no idea who they were. And it may not have been the census, I don't know. But my son said, Mom, I believe it was the census, but they left no card. They didn't leave anything. So if they come to your home and you don't answer, will they leave something?
That's a good question. First, and I was gonna, commend you on not opening the door, because really the census enumerators have to have the appropriate identification so that, there's no concerns about that. I honestly do not know
Okay.
whether they are supposed to leave something. My guess is possibly not if they have gotten to the point where they have come to your door. But if you'll give me your phone number,
Sure.
I can answer that question for you by asking the right person.
So
Okay,
just so
or I can fill it online. I just didn't, I definitely want to be in compliance, and I'm going to do this. And like I said, normally we get it by mail.
Right.
And so we haven't gotten anything, so we haven't done it. But when the gentleman showed, there was nothing to show me who these people were. But the only thing he had was a clipboard,
Right.
and anybody, anybody can grab a clipboard to look official. But I didn't open my door. I didn't even say, who is it? I just left both of them out there.
Right. Well, you were probably very, on target in doing that. As a matter of fact, and if you don't feel comfortable giving your number to me, even on the chat screen, or if you give it to Lindsay, then Lindsay can text it to me.
Good.
Sure, I'll give it to Lindsay.
Okay.
yes,
And I'll find that out for you. I can probably have an answer for you just by later this evening.
Okay, thank you, Debbie.
Sure. Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about. Collaboration. We all know something, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for that update, because it is very important. But I think a lot of folks are looking, like Bridget said, looking for something in the mail. But what I did was I did get mine in the mail, but I went online and I knocked it out in like 5 minutes. It was very easy, No, so just so you know, you don't have to write an essay or nothing. It's just checking boxes and submitting. So it's down and dirty. It's fast. It really didn't ask for a whole lot of information other than, who I was, but no identifying, nothing. I've given more information to Lindsay about myself than that thing asked me. All right. Last thing I want to talk about, and then because we're right at the hour mark, folks, there's some nasty rumors going around out there about taxes, and this is the group that I want to talk to. How many of y'all are aware that the city did not raise your property taxes, not one penny this year? Everyone is aware of that, correct? Okay.
Correct.
Thank you. Okay. I saw the El Paso Times, they reported on it, but it's amazing. Other news gets more press than something as important as this. This COVID is put us all in a position where we really have to be more frugal, and we have to be more cognizant of what's going on in our world and how it's impacting people. And sometimes it takes a crisis to make you get your life right and get on track. And this crisis has just forced everyone in the city, city manager, the mayor, all the city reps to really think about taxes and taxation and how money is spent and what it's been spent on. If you guys can help us get the word out, it's not gonna amount to a hill of beans one way or another, but I'd like people to have accurate information. The city did not raise your taxes this year, okay? The taxes were held in the same place they were last year. And when we did the analysis, that really added up. It helped a lot of people out, okay? So the misinformation and the rumors, if you hear it, just call BS on that, because it's doing nothing but stressing people out. We have enough going on in our community, in the world right now, where we don't need that added little stress. Because I've got a couple of them might even be on the line here tonight. I've had to asked them to breathe at my community meeting so they didn't have a stroke because they were so mad about taxes. So it just bothers me that there are people out there spreading that type of garbage that the city is not doing its fair part. We're involved, okay? We're still trying to get paid from the president's visit here, okay? That's a lot of money too. But just keep that in mind. Lindsay, you got something on that?
Yes, actually, thank you, Nancy, for bringing that up. She just texted me. So please keep in mind also, because there is a discrepancy. You might see a difference in your taxes because of the Central Appraisal District. So the Central Appraisal District is the outside party there, not a city function that appraises the worth of your home. And so there was very little increases this year. If I don't remember the exact number, but I know actually a lot of properties went down in value. So that you might see a difference in your taxes from last year, but that's not due to a tax increase. That's due to the value of your home. So that's through the Central Appraisal District. And as you all know, we've had somebody out to our other meetings about, if you don't believe that the value that they place on your home is fair, whether it's too high or too low, you can always appeal whatever that value is. And it is a long process. You have to show them why you feel this way with evidence and stuff, but it's a worthwhile process if you feel that what they're valuing your home at is not accurate. So I don't want anybody to think, well, my bill wasn't exactly the same as last year, because that's not necessarily going to happen. It depends on the value of your home. So thank you, Nancy, for bringing that up. That was a good point.
Yeah, thank you, Nancy, because everyone's concerned about it, but it's just phenomenal that there are people that are willing to add that little extra stress onto an already stressed out population. So when you guys come to District 4, we try to calm you down a little bit, bring you into your good zone, so work with us on that. Help us get the word out, because the city is working hard for it. The staff, they get beat up a lot, and they've been working 24 hours a day, literally since August 3rd of last year. We haven't had a break. And, we only have so much talent to work with. Okay. So Lindsay.
Oh, sorry. Somebody asked a question in the chat. What did the school districts do regarding taxes? So that's another great question. School districts are also separate from the city. They did approve another bond issuance, if I'm not mistaken.
$240 million. That's why it's important for people to not just only pay attention to city council. You have county commissioners out there as well. You have school board trustees out there as well. They're renaming schools shutting schools down, merging schools. And for whatever reason, everyone believes that we're doing that at the city. The EPISD school board, all the school boards are independent of the city, independent of the county, but you do pay a hell of a lot of taxes to them. Okay. I have one kid that's left in school, and I'm hoping like when she gets out, I don't have to pay that anymore. Just joking.
Good luck.
Good luck with that, right?
Your El Paso School District, you all need to call your council people.
Your school board trustee.
The money, Miss Barb, they had the money to put in artificial turf for your football, and they just finished this $3 million weight room nonsense. They haven't finished Irvin. I happen not to be El Paso School District, but that's beside the point.
Right.
You already passed the largest bond that's ever been passed in this city, period. But it didn't go where it was supposed to go to benefit the majority of the students. Mm-hmm. So if you don't play football, basketball, or one of the sports, I guess you don't benefit from anything coming out of this El Paso School District.
So just so you all know, in our newsletter, we put all of the contact information for each of the EPISD board trustees. So you can reach out to them, and it's listed by what school they represent. So if you have a specific school in mind and you don't know, which trustee it is, it lists every single school that trustee is responsible for. So please reach out to them, because a lot of times what happens is people reach out to the city, but we're a separate entity, so we can't really do anything. So Remember, the school district makes up 45% of your taxes. The city only makes up 27%. So if your tax bill is really high, it's probably because of the school district. So make sure you call those trustees and let them know that you're not happy with that. Because at the end of the day, like Barb said, they're asking you for more money and then they're deciding where it goes and how it's used. So you need to make sure your voice is heard in that as well.
And that's a very good point. Yoli, Clay, and I, we both sat on a board over there. I believe that last bond was passed for what, $680 million, and now we're
the city has ever had.
The largest it's ever had. And you got to remember, you just got to half your board at EPISD is brand new, and they just increased that debt by $240 million more dollars. If you do the math on that, folks, that's $1 billion. And we're still working on the projects that the 680 million was working. And that's why I try.
Conditioning.
Excuse me.
You don't have.
Yes,
But
that
you
we
got a
don't
good
have.
weight room and football field with artificial turf.
School board trustees. And what we'll do is we'll try to put more information out there. But right now, like Lindsay said in our newsletter, you can contact any trustee in this city just by clicking on the link through our newsletter and let them know what you guys think. You know, because for whatever reason, they spend a lot of money in a very short period of time, but their meetings are the least attended that I've seen in this city. Sorry, guys. But we'll work with you on that to make sure we get you the proper contact information.
And then one last thing. Sorry, guys. I know I'm like information overloading you tonight, but it's been a while, so I needed to get it all out. One last thing. If you all know of any people, we've gotten some calls to our office concerned about the elderly in our community not having food. So if you know of anybody, please let us know. El Pasoans Fighting Hunger does have a pilot program right now that they will deliver food to a person who needs its home. So if you know of anybody or if it's you yourself, don't be afraid to call and we'll help you get that set up. El Pasoans Fighting Hunger has done a tremendous job during this COVID pandemic. I actually live right by the facility and the line goes on for miles. But they've done an outstanding job. So if you are hungry or if you know of anybody that's hungry, please have them reach out to us. And please make sure that they're taken care of. Like I said, it can be delivered to their home, so they don't have to worry about going anywhere. I know we had somebody call who she's not able to drive and she didn't want to take the bus for obvious reasons. And so they were able to deliver to her home, and it's contactless. They just leave it on your porch and they call you and let you know it's on your porch, you know, do what you need with it. And that's a weekly drop off that they do as long as you need it. So please take advantage of that service. And also if you're on the more fortunate side and you're not having that issue, but you have a little bit of extra dollars, I know a lot of people don't right now, but if you do, please consider donating to El Pasoans Fighting Hunger, because I don't know where they're getting this food from, but they've been feeding our community through this whole pandemic. And I know it's been a struggle, but they're doing it. So if you do have the means to donate, please consider doing that.
Thank you for that update. Thank you, Lindsay. Okay. Well, we truly appreciate all of you, chiming in here today. Is this a format or something that you all feel comfortable with? You'd like to see more of? Because right now we're planning on doing this every week. But any feedback on anything we can do better? Obviously, what we're trying to do is every other week we'll bring in a guest. Obviously, today wasn't structured to be very. Today was just structured to find out, where we're at, where we're going, and where you guys want to go. Is this a beneficial format for you all?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hello?
Yes, are you there, ma'am?
Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead. Wait, hello?
Lindsay?
Yes.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry. This is Bridget again. No, the format for me, it's fine. I think the information is beneficial. I really do like it. I miss the gathering. I miss being with everybody, but I understand we can't. But for me, it really does work out. And I truly just want to say that, I thank you, Lindsay, for, always your quick response to anything, any questions I may have, and to Dr. Morgan, any questions that I may have, you have always responded very quickly. And I really do appreciate it. And the format for me, I'm okay with it. I'm okay.
All right,
Perfect.
thank you.
Do we have to stay at 6 o'clock? Can we change it to 7?
I mean, that's up to you all.
It's up
But
to
that
the
would put it
group.
into-
What do you guys want to do? I mean, we don't want to make it too late. So I think 6
No,
is
but
fine.
dinner, it hits like 5:30 and 6 o'clock is when we eat dinner, and then the major news is on.
Yeah.
So 7 is.
Well, I will say this. The time is fine with me, but she does have a valid point, because I was preparing dinner while I was on the phone. But I mean, I'm flexible with whatever the team wants. I'm flexible. I have nowhere to go. I'm retired, so I'm flexible. But she does have a valid point. This is kind of like dinner time, and so I'm in the middle of preparing dinner. I'm not complaining, Dr. Morgan and Lindsay. I'm not. But she brings up a valid point.
Would you all be okay with it maybe a little earlier? We try to do it at 6 because a lot of people work till 5, but I guess now not many people have a commute home anymore. So would maybe a little earlier be better for you all?
I'm flexible. Whatever time you tell me.
6 o'clock is a rough time, because we eat between 5:30 and 6.
Okay.
So, and I'm on just the phone. I don't have a laptop or any of the internet.
Well, we can play with the time a little bit, and we'll find the sweet spot, and we'll see. But I'm glad we had a good turnout today. And I do want to remind you, I know though you guys obviously know this because you're on here, but please let your friends know if they don't have internet in their home, or they, like Miss Pugh said, they don't have a laptop. That's okay. They can call in. So we have a couple people on here that have just called in, so they don't have video capability, but they're able to hear what's going on and be a part of it. So that's a really awesome thing that Microsoft Teams allows us to do. So please let them know that they don't have to know or have technology to join us.
Well, I thank you, because it does work, Lindsay. I was
Perfect.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work, but it did. So
awesome.
If you guys want,
I just wanted to add one thing, and I think that once a week might be pretty often. I'm good with every other week, unless everybody wants to meet once a week. But I have different Zoom meetings, and if we were to meet every other week, that would be okay with me too. But
yeah, I think
whatever
every
the
other
group
week.
wants.
Okay. And like we said, that's what this conversation is really about, to figure out what works for everybody. Thank you for that.
I think Julie, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but the
Dan.
man with Dan.
No, I just want to say, if you want to take a little bit of that load off that you guys are catching, as far as the complaints about taxes and all this other stuff. One of the flaws, I kind of saw this last week, and I was going to comment about something and I didn't, but like all the charts, all the pies and everything like that, they're very specific to, okay, this is where El Paso goes. So you see like the big chunk, okay, all this goes to police and fire, and all this goes here, and this is what we're getting by with. The problem where you guys are shooting yourself in the foot is that every one of these should also include El Paso School District and the county stuff. And I understand that that's not the city's portion of it, but here's the problem. It all comes out of the same pockets. So when you're looking at, okay, police and fire make whatever it is, 60% of the budget or something like that. Right. People are thinking that 60% of the taxes they're paying are going to police and fire, when in fact, no, most of it's going to EPISD. and then the actual out of their pocket cost is maybe 20% is going to police and fire, and it looks really deceiving. If you put it up there and just, you know, you can like gray it out or something like that, and then have like the colored portion or something show this is the cities, but always have that EPISD money in there, because people forget about that and they think, well, I paid $4,000 in taxes last year, $5,000 in taxes last year, and they're thinking that, you know, out of my $5,000, that means about 3,000 went to police and fire, and that's not the truth. You know, that's not the truth. So that might be something to, like I said, gray it out, separate it, but make sure it's included in every single one you have, and maybe that'll bring up a little bit more visibility, and people will start thinking about, well, wait a minute, maybe we need to start asking about where this money's going from the school. Instead,
Okay,
$1 billion, that's ridiculous.
And it's real.
Yeah.
Okay.
But people forget about it. They don't see that. It's real, but it's invisible. You know.
Okay.
And it shouldn't be.
I think we can do a better job. I can talk with Robert Cortinas, the CFO, see if we can do something like that. We used to put that dollar up there that said 27% of every dollar that you spend, or 27 cents, comes to the city. The rest goes somewhere else. And of that 27%, 60% of that is what keeps us safe. Police, fire, and our health department. So that's a very good point. I think we need to go back to that graphic of showing exactly how that dollar is broken up.
You need to do that with every single, like I said, even if you narrow down the slice of the pie and show a gray portion or something, like something without color or something, but it shows that, look, this is what we're talking about here, out of your pocket. Because like I said, it all comes out of the same pockets in the end. So it's not really, if you're just showing that little piece, you're kind of you're leaving yourself short in that department. You know, it's not explaining exactly where it's going, and you're catching a lot of heat from it that really isn't due to you guys.
I could talk to the city manager and the CFO. That's a very good point. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate that.
No problem.
That's good. Thank you, brother.
Anytime. Food.
Okay, so just really quick before we wrap up, we got a lot of feedback in the chat, and I got some texts. It seems like everybody's good with every other week meetings. So I think we'll start doing that. And we'll work on the time. We'll see what we can do with the time. I did get a text for an 8 a.m. meeting. I don't know how you all feel about that. And then I also got another message that Wednesday nights conflict with church's Bible studies. So we'll try and find a time that works best. We're not going to be able to please everybody, but we'll try to see what we can do to get the most people here, because we do want this to be informative and for you all to be able to ask questions. As always, you have access to our office, but this is a different way to connect. So we'll work on that.
It's better than
You're
nothing.
still going to send out the newsletters?
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm working on that. She's referring to a mail-in newsletter, so I'm working on that. The issue with those, since we're working remotely, we have to send them to our city mail office. So it's kind of a longer process than normal, but they're on their way, I promise.
Oh, okay.
And that's
No
another
problem.
thing. If you all do not have the technology sorry, Brett Morgan, I'm like monopolizing the conversation.
I know I'm not the only one.
Yeah, so if you guys don't have access to a computer to receive our weekly newsletter that goes out via email, call us and let us know so we can get you on our mail out list. That one's not going to go out every week because that's way too much postage to pay. We're on a budget.
So, yeah. Even once a month.
Yeah, it'll be once a month, and we'll make sure it includes just the hard-hitting topics that you all need to know. And then, of course, joining us here, you'll get to know that information as well.
Okay.
I think I'm done now.
Thank you.
You disabled my chat, but I had a question.
Sure.
But you disabled my chat, so I couldn't ask a question. I just wanted to ask if you can post this on the Nextdoor Neighborhood app next time you have one of these meetings.
So, sorry, I don't know what happened with the chat. I'm not sure why it's not letting you chat. But so actually, we don't have a Nextdoor because Nextdoor does not allow politicians to have it.
Okay.
I guess because they don't want it flooded with political stuff. So we actually don't have the capability to post it ourselves, like coming from our office. But you are welcome to share it. We put our graphics all on Facebook, or if you would like, I can email them directly to you. Is this Miss Bernie?
No, this is Elma.
No. Elma. Okay, I'm so
Elma.
sorry. If you wouldn't mind, you're welcome to post it for us, but unfortunately we can't put it from our office because they don't allow, politics on there. So, and I've reached out to them trying to get an exception, but it didn't go very far.
Even though everyone's using it for that, except for me.
Not really. Not really.
Well,
Yeah.
the bottom line is by law we're not allowed to. But like if you all want to take something that we put out on our Facebook page, okay, you're more than welcome to do whatever you want with that content, okay. But for us to do it, there's a little issue there, okay. If you guys hadn't noticed,
that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing because a lot of people say they don't know when your meetings are or anything. So I give them your number and information so they can get the newsletter.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much. All right.
Yeah. And that's another thing. If anybody, you know of anybody that would like to know more about what's going on or to know about our meetings, on our website, they can sign up for the newsletter, elpasotexas.gov/district4. So on there they can subscribe to the newsletter so they don't have to go through us if they don't want that, but they're always welcome to call us to subscribe as well.
And Lindsay, can you send Yoli my phone number? Yoli, text me, please. Thank you. Other than that, I want to thank you all for coming out here and spending the last hour and 51 minutes of your lives with us. We'll do our best to keep it down to an hour the next time. But you guys had some very good points, and you asked some very good questions. Debbie, thank you for that information about the census. We really need everyone in El Paso to understand how important that is. I'm with Yoli on this one. I don't know how we lost a full month, because that makes a big difference for a town like El Paso. A month is a month. But anything that we can do to help any of you all get any information out, please reach out to us. Anything you see going on out there that you're not sure how to deal with on your own, contact us, okay? Things are moving slow right now, but the bottom line is we're still here, we're still working, we still care about the community, and we're gonna continue to work hard for the community. I took a tour of the water park. Awesome. Okay. And you guys that are going to be following me here soon, I'm going to be putting out some things that are coming to the Northeast, but Lindsay won't let me talk politics on here, but Yoli and I, we're going to talk politics. but everyone else, I'll shoot some information out to you guys here soon. And you guys have a lot of information on what's actually happening in the Northeast, and you don't have to work off for rumors and innuendo, because a lot of that crap is exactly that, rumor and innuendo. Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Much love to you guys.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Be safe out there.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.